Welcome to Pateo Television. My name is Johan Oldenkamp, and in this 36th episode of Pateo TV, we're going to talk about the 2017 forecast. And it's mostly about the cover, the leaked cover of the magazine called The Economist. And here you see that leaked front cover, and it has all kinds of cards. These are tarot cards, but then changed, and each change has meaning. I'll switch off my camera, and that's no longer necessary. And I'm going to explain each of these 8 cards in detail in this video. What do we need to know? Well, first of all, we need to know that this cover is not yet on the market. This issue has not been released. So I'm not 100% certain this will be the next cover. But even if it is not, this is still very important information. This was the last issue released on the day of Christmas Eve, December 24th. Yeah, it was a double issue for Christmas, so that people could have a lot of things to read, meaning what they want people to read. And yeah, we'll have to see if this is the next one on the planet Trump, because you can see here Donald Trump sitting on top of the world. So that's maybe their forecast. Or is it predictive programming? Predictive programming, it's up to you to decide. The owners of this magazine call themselves the Economist Group. And one of the families within the group is, of course, the Rothschild family. And if you want to learn more about this family, then read this ebook, Meet the Elite. I go into full detail on this family and how they were able to rise to power. But also the Rockefellers and other families as well. You can buy this ebook for 10 euros or 10 USA dollars. Yeah, just contact me if you're interested in it. I made a video, a masterclass video on the tarot called the logic of the tarot, and I explained the logic because most people think it's just the cards or cards game or whatever. No, it's not. It's ancient science. And in this video, which you can also purchase via me, I explain this in full detail. Each of these 78 cards. So I'm not going to do that now. If you are interested in the full depth understanding of the tarot, then yeah, that masterclass video is the way to go forward for you. And I also made a video on the end times prophecy, and especially what we find in the 9th chapter of the book of Daniel. The last 3 verses there are very specific, and on the basis of what is written there, I was able to crack the so-called Daniel code, and I came up with a very precise prediction of what will happen. And the year 2017 is very important in that prophecy as well. So it all comes together now. And yeah, when I saw the front cover of the magazine, The Economist, I knew, yeah, I was right. But yeah, we'll have to see at the end of the year. But for now, I'll just explain that front cover. Yeah, you can also purchase this video via me. And they were right before. This was the front cover in 2015. And what is so important? Well, we can talk about the phases here and all the other stuff. Yeah, I can talk about the planets having 2 phases. Yeah, you can call this a Chinese part, and the rest of the world is a little bit upset by what's going on. It's all, yeah, or the Arab world. I don't know how to interpret this, but I know how to interpret the right-hand side down corner, because there we find numbers, and yeah, I am very fond of numbers because they speak to me as clearly as letters do. So this has meaning. And what is that meaning? Well, what happened in 2015? It seems to be a long time ago, but it's not that long ago, only 2 years. And 2 years ago, on January 7, we saw an attack in the French capital, Paris. And it had everything to do with a magazine called Charlie Hebdo. It's actually yeah, a cartoon, a magazine that is yeah, mocking a lot of stuff. Anyway, not going into detail on that too. I made a video on this false flag attack and everything that was completely fake about it. But I'm now focusing on the numbers here. So that happened on January 7, and we can write that as 7/1/15, the year 15, the month 1, and the day 7. And then later, that same year, also 2015, I remember this is the 2015 issue of The Economist, we saw the attack again in Paris, but now, for instance, at the Bataclan Theater. Yeah, I'm not going to explain what you see here. Yeah, I've done it in another video. I'm now focusing on the numbers. And if you look at the numbers, the year 15, 2015, 15, the month 11, and the day is 13, so 15, 11, 13. Yeah, this was a Friday, so it was also Friday the 13th. All has meaning. But now look at these numbers, 115, 113. Coincidence? Well, I don't think so. And what do you see here? Well, we see Germany, Angela Merkel in the front. So, and 2016 wasn't a very important year for Germany. Germany was very in the news, so to say. There was twice an attack, one in, around Christmas and the other one in Munich in the summer. Yeah, I did a video on that too as well. So I'm focusing now here on the main picture. But this magazine is, yeah, in the knowing, so to say. They know what's going to happen, and they are telling you this. It's clearly predictive programming. So what about this cover? The one that was leaked on, I think, November 20 of last year. Planet Trump issue. If it's going to be a real issue, I don't know, as I said before, but let us assume it is. What do they try to tell us then? Yeah, who are they? Well, the ones who are behind this magazine. So the Rothschild family and their co-workers, so to say. These are the real cards of the major arcana of the tarot. And they change the pictures quite a bit. And each change has meaning. So let's go into that. And each card has a number too. And on the upper hand side, on the left, we find number 16. And on the right hand side, at the bottom, we find 17. So we can say this is the transition from 16 to 17 via these 8 steps. Or from 2016 to 2017. Also, these numbers to me are meaningful. And there's much more to say about this, but I want to focus on the main line because I don't want to make this video too long. Let us look at the Tower card. What do we see here? Well, we see to the left, that means to the past, the flag of the Soviet Union. Officially it was called the USSR, or in Russian language, abbreviated, becomes CCCP. And this card is, by the way, about change. So there was it's a big change. And what is the change all about? It's about belief. Because people in the past lost their belief in communism. Communism went down. And this is the future. Something is going down in the future. And what is going down? Well, that's the cross. And that's the cross of faith or religion, or very specific Christianity. Christianity will fall down, will tumble down. And probably also other religions as well. Because people will understand the truth and they will see through the lies that are fed to them via the religions. Yeah, they try to convince people about things that are absolutely not true. For instance, the historical Jesus is a myth. It's not true. There's a deeper spiritual meaning, and Holy Science is telling you everything about this. But Christianity, as we know it, controlled from the Vatican, is going down. And I think that's good news. So, yeah, as I said before, Trump here, because it's clearly that this is Donald Trump sitting on top of the world. But what is he sitting on? Some say it's a throne, and others say it's a toilet. Well, it's up to you to decide. Looks like a toilet part 2 indeed. So is Trump shitting on the USA? Is that what they try to tell us? Or will he bring down the USA? Yeah, many interpretations possible, but that he is the man, that's, I think, for certain. But we have to wait until January 20, because then is the inauguration, and until that time, Barack Obama, or whatever you like to call this man, Barry Soetoro, is still in charge of the USA, officially, in front of the screen. Yeah, of course, he's a puppet, we all know this, but this will be a completely different puppet. The worlds, well, what do we see in this card? Yeah, the original one has 4 corners. They have meaning. They are the 4 elements. Yeah, earth, air, water, and fire. But here we see 3 layers, and Holy Science also explains you about 3 layers. So what is at the top? Well, there is a book. Maybe that's the script. They take the end time prophecies from the Bible very literally, and for them it is, they want to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's why these ancient scriptures are very important. Yeah, because you can comment on it in very ways. You say, yeah, maybe they want us to believe. It doesn't really matter. For them, they are in control. They shouldn't be, but they are. For them, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So they take this prophecy very literal in order for them to rise to power. That's what they want to do. And they worship somebody's on a painting. And who's on a painting like this, an ancient painting? Somebody who is dead. So to me, they honor death. And they are behind masks. You see here the masks. They don't show their true faces. No, of course not. Yeah, you need to understand the truth to see through their illusions. Yeah, I've explained also in other videos about this mask. Yeah, Eyes Wide Shut, the famous film, the last one by Stanley Kubrick. There's so much to tell here, but I focus on the main line because, as I said, the studio should be as short as possible. And there you see, of course, the pyramids, and where it is positioned, well, right in Egypt. Yeah, you see the continent of Africa here, so it's Egypt. And that's how they control the world. This is very specific because you see a parade here, actually people demonstrating against something. They want something to stop. They want no. They say no against what? They say no against TTIP and against TPP and against EU, European Union. So that's what these people don't want. But what happens to these people? Well, they go down. They will fall down like lemmings. They go off the cliff. Yeah, that's not the way to go forward. The way to go forward is to stand on top, to be like a hermit, and to distance yourself from this and watch the world from a higher perspective. Because the world will crack. You see here the crack. There will be a huge clash between nations. And it has everything to do with these transatlantic trade investment partnership. Because this will not be this will not come true. So there will be a lot of trouble between nations based on, yeah, kind of economic war. And I think that economic war will eventually become a real war. And that will be, of course, World War #3. It's all in this card. And they know this. They tell us this. This is going to happen. And that will result in death. Yeah, you see here something that looks like a very special, yeah, weapon. I'm not going to talk about the atomic bomb hoax here, but they have technology to make complete twin towers disappear, yeah, to justify them. So they have the technology to do this, and that's what they do in order to create a huge war. And you see here, yeah, what are these giant mosquitoes? Whatever it is, I think a reference to, yeah, pestilences or whatever, yeah, major diseases. And you see here a fish and hardly any water. So there is not much water to swim in. It will become, yeah, a scarcity of water on the planet. Water will become scarce, and that will be very upsetting for many people as well. So there are tough times ahead of us. In the real tarot, this is a very beautiful card because it's about the rebirth. Yeah, you see the sunrise. It's the start of a new phase in your life. But this is not something positive at all, in my opinion. And what does it tell us here? Well, the magician is about how the world is created. And the world, you see here the four elements, yeah, depicted in another way. I'm not going to explain the card here, the real one, but I focus on what you see here. This is VR, meaning virtual reality. So we live in a virtual reality. Our world is not real. It is completely controlled by the mainstream media, yeah, and the powers that should not be. They have influenced everything in our world. They tell us what so-called science is. They tell us what the so-called truth is. It's all not true. It's all a lie. But many people believe in it. It's the mainstream lie. And the 3D, some people say it's a 3D printer. Well, you can see it like that. To me, this simply refers to the 3D reality we live in. Only science refers to it as the shadow world. And it has indeed 3 dimensions. And that's the world our senses can perceive. And that world is fully controlled. The finger is on the button here. So the virtual reality is on control over the real reality. And that's what they show us here. And they, of course, control the virtual reality, so that's why they control our reality. And we live more and more in a completely controlled reality. It's up to you if you want to stay in there or not. Maybe you're already out. But Holy Science offers you a way out. Very precise and clear word. This is perhaps the most specific card. You see here 3 people going around in a wheel. And that's in the original card is the Wheel of Fortune. This every single detail is very meaningful on this original card. But this is very specific too. Because the 3 faces we see here, the 3 people, they are real people. Yeah, of course, it's not too difficult to find out who they are. The first one is Angela Merkel. At the moment, she is in, so-called the boss of Germany. But there will be elections from, I'm not sure the date yet, but somewhere between August 27 and October 22. And the main question is, will she be re-elected or not? That will happen in Germany. So you see the German flag here. And this will happen in France. You see the woman here is Marine Le Pen, extreme right politician. And of course the French flag. And the elections in France are in June. Yeah, one on 11th and the other one on 18th. And the third character you see depicted at the bottom, that's in the Netherlands. And his name is Geert Wilders. And he is an extreme right-wing character too. Of course, these are all puppets, and he is a very complete idiotic character, in my opinion. They're all controlled by the Zionists, and especially he. But I'm not going into detail as well. What we see here is these elections will cause a lot of chaos in these 3 European countries. And because the results will be very disturbing. It will not be clear, and there will be a kind of vacuum, and there will be a lot of upheaval and mayhap and so on. So this will go round and round and round, but I think it's very important that these 3 countries indeed have major elections this year, 2017, and these are major players in those elections. So it's not a coincidence they are depicted here. But the most important one here is the flashlight, the lightning. So trouble ahead for these 3 countries in Europe, but other countries as well. And then the last card depicted on that front cover of the Economist is the card the Star, and the original one is about Venus. There's 1 big star and 7 smaller ones, so 1 plus 7 is 17. Not 8, but 1 big is 1, so it's then a 7 behind 17. And this is also card 17. But here we find different numbers. We find 10 white stars and 14 yellow ones. And those yellow ones have faces. I cannot recognize the faces, maybe you can. But I focus on the numbers now, and then you get 10, 14, so maybe October 14th. Will something big happen? Who knows? If you want to learn more about my work, then I strongly advise you to visit my website, Pateo.nl. It has information in 10 different languages. Standard, it is English, but you can click on the other languages in the top menu as well. Then it changes to those languages. I don't have too much trouble with the mainstream because everybody can see how big time the mainstream is lying. So that's not a real issue for me. Of course, we want to replace mainstream because we want to get rid of all those very annoying lies. But my biggest challenge at the moment is to help people see all the lies in the alternative media. Because they are, most people are so gullible, they break free from the mainstream lies and then they fall for the same trap, but now in the alternative world. Yeah, they think because somebody tells you about the lies in mainstream, that which is true, that whatever they are saying next is also true. But that's a very silly way of reasoning. In fact, I dare to say 99% of all the mainstream, all the alternative information is utterly nonsense. So that's a big maze where you can get lost in for long. And I know what I'm talking about because I've been in that maze. I've done investigations on almost everything. And I was able to find out which is true and which is false. And I made that into a video course. Now, if you click here on video course, in the main menu, then you see that I made 30 videos about holy science. So if you want to understand this holy science in the full breadth, then I strongly advise you to take this course, to follow it, and to watch these 30 videos with a total playing time of more than 52 hours. So you have to make time in your own life to study this, but then you will see how big the lies are, and not only the mainstream lies, but also the alternative lies. And if you want to connect with me or follow me, these are the pages to go to. Yeah, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel of mine. Simply click on subscribe under this video, and that's all you have to do. You can check out my website on maybe a weekly basis. Simply go to the news, and then you'll find everything that is new. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Twitter, and there is a Facebook page you can like so you get updates as well. For now, I thank you very much for watching this video. Namaste.